We drove our new Project Scout over 250 miles home and spent time fixing up mechanical issues. Now we're completely tearing apart the Scout and getting a new bed in it with hopes to take both Scouts to Scout Nationals in June. Okay, another day on the Scout. Thinking about taking the tailgate off and the bumper. The only issue I have is that, as you can see, this quarter is being held on by this little bit of rusted metal and the tailgate latch. My son had some friends over, so I was afraid they were gonna mess with this. It's actually, the quarter's actually dropped significantly right now. I don't know how visible that is, but it's sitting down like an inch because none of this material here is connected anymore. So it's just riding on this rear cross member, which is literally just sitting there. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to pull the bumper to the tailgate, and I'm going to have to do some temporary support in here, and then I can get the new cross member just sitting in place, and I can bolt together. I can basically bolt together everything that's supposed to be bolted together there, and that's going to take care of this. That should actually like dramatically reduce any movement in this, and it'll get it should get the bed sitting, I'm going to say like 90% back to where it's supposed to be sitting, which that might be a better approach. Okay, a little unorthodox, but there's a little bit of support there right now. It's off the, it is off the support there. I need to get something to hold this up, and then I need to pull this tailgate. I feel like I'm getting a little lazy. I should probably do a better job with supporting this. Yeah, I don't want to pull this. I don't want to pull this off yet. This whole thing is teetering. That tailgate's a lot of, the tailgate's a lot of weight though. This shouldn't be very heavy once this is off of here. Oh, shoot. Don't do that. Come on. Oh, I don't like any of that. All right. Should slide right out of there. But it is not. Okay. All right. That did not go as planned. Because that side is probably sagged too much. There we go. Okay, so none of that went well, but that's really not how you're supposed to do any of it. So I'm fine with that. So I can remove the bolts here and probably just drop the pins for the tailgate, but I need to do more securing. Maybe weld something across the top, I don't know. I don't understand why it wasn't coming off the pin, maybe just because it wasn't straight, but I guess if I just take those out, then I don't have to deal with it. All right, new plan. So, can I just pull this back across the body here? Man, that was frustrating. I couldn't find out why I had no air supply to the welder. And my gas bottle still has gas in it, but my regulator, the actual nozzle on the regulator, apparently came completely unscrewed. So I have no pressure and I have no idea where it went. So I found something that'll work, and back in action. This is actually, I probably should have shortened this by just a hair. Okay, that's fine. So this is going to hold this just a touch wider than ideal. It'll be close enough. just want to kind of see how this is going to line up, and I want to be able to pull that cross member in and out while I'm still using this support, which now, looking at it, is way too high. I need to lower that. Or no, wait, it's caught on this. It's holding it high, I think. Yep, okay. So that's a little bit better. So none of this is ideal, but I'm not too worried about it. It'll get the job done. This will be nice and secure once this is all complete. And I'm gonna go through, replace that quarter. I'm gonna replace the inner on this. Eventually all of this is gonna get redone. So honestly, it's already more secure. It's just moving up here. That back's pretty stable. That works for now. Okay, taking a look at this really for the first time. This corner cap, there's a little bit of rot in here, but not too bad. I'm gonna eventually cut out some of this bad metal in here and some of these old repairs, and I'll just replace all of that. This side actually looks, I think, a little bit better. Been a little bit of repair in here over the years, but still pretty serviceable. I need to bend this back down. But the good news is now that all that's out of there, I can put that new piece in with the correct gussets, whatever they're called, I don't know, with the correct mounting pieces in here. And I could, in theory, put the tailgate back on and have everything bolted up and significantly more secure. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet, because this is holding pretty good where it's at, and I don't want to have to redo all that work, so we'll see. This side is sitting a little high right now. It seems like this side might be a little bit low, so I still need to pick that up. That'll all fix itself, I think, once we get in here. Okay, I've never removed a step bumper. I don't know how that works. I think I have to take bumper itself off, and then there's the holes in the frame. Maybe I have to put a wrench on the nut. Yeah, I chose to cut through the bolts on the step bumper because it was a lot of mix and match hardware anyway, and it's just gonna be that much easier. So I should just need to drive 4 of these out. So I've been going at this frame again, trying to clean it up as much as possible. It's not going to be perfect. This isn't a frame off restoration or anything like that, but I'm trying to get the worst of the rust. Trying to get it converted. I'm using concrete metal prep, which is basically just phosphoric acid. Trying to convert this as much as possible and just get it cleaned up, and I'll get some paint on it, get it protected. This is the only chance I'll really have to get in here, and the easiest it'll ever be. And that phosphoric acid, it'll eat some of this rust and should convert what's left over into a paintable surface. Trying to finish treating the frame here, the rust off, but I need to take this plate off of here, and these bolts are square underneath. I don't know what that's called, a carriage bolt, but they're stripped, so I'm going to probably have to weld. Take a bit of tack them to this, clean this off and tack them, and then hopefully the bolt will come off the bottom and deal with that once everything's off. So we'll see how that goes. Missed completely. Oh, I think I'm running out of wire. No. This is a new one on me. My wire feed is all messed up. I don't have a whole lot of wire left in this roll, but it's unfortunate. I'll have to... Ugh, what a mess. Okay. Okay, we'll see if these hold. These are, those were probably not powerful enough. Don't worry about that. It was welding blind. The rest of that should hold, hopefully. Let's see. Looking close. These ones hopefully. Just enough. The weld broke, but that huge piece of weld that was left over. Sorry, that huge piece of weld. Yeah, that huge piece of weld actually kept that from spinning. But you can see these are supposed to be squared off here, and it's just they've rounded. And also this piece is kind of rounded, so I'll have to re-weld this. And I'm really close to running out of wire. I have more wire, so I'll be... That heat might also just break this free. There it is. Duh. Okay, so we'll see. I'll either get new hardware or I just might tack these back on, because why not? I'll clean this up in the sandblaster and I'll be able to finish cleaning up this frame now. Alright, taking a good bit of time here, clean this up a lot in the sandblaster. It's about as clean as it's gonna get. And these are a little loose in here. I'm just gonna put a couple tacks on them. The middle one's already still tacked, so just to keep those in place. I'm not worried about changing out the hardware. It'll be fine for what I'm doing. Crank that up to 11. Ooh. Wow, that's so much better. Alright. Never used that welding wire. It's a bigger spool from Hobo Freight. I've always used the little spools of Lincoln, but for that worked just fine. This is kind of messy. I was having problems with the welder feeding, and I haven't welded much in a while, so that'll hold. And this will just go right back into here, like so. have been putting off this part, hoping I didn't have to cut this quarter off yet, but I think it's just going to be easier because I need to rebuild this down on the bottom because that's rotted out. I've got holes in the inner quarter here that'll be better to deal with if I can get to the other side, and then I've got a bunch of rot in the front with the same problem. And I do have a new quarter. I do have a new wheel well section, but I've also got to deal with this up front where this is all rotted, and that's going to be kind of a mess. I guess the only good part is some of the old bolt holes are there. I did order this piece, but I'm guessing it's probably going to be a couple weeks away, so I'll stitch in this whole piece, which should give me a pretty close alignment with I'll have the bolt holes from that too, so I should be able to get all of this rebuilt. I'll eventually do the rockers, even though they're somewhat solid right now. That's gonna be a lot of work. Been welding in this patch here. It's not completely done, but first weld I've done in a long time. I cut it a little long intentionally just because can always trim it later. I'm gonna start cutting this out so that I can start focusing on this back here. I did just also cut out this whole bottom section, so I'll need to patch in all of that as well. So there's a lot of work. Yeah, so let's get this done. We knew what that was going to look like. That's no big deal. The rest of this, actually, back half doesn't look too bad. This is where I knew I was going to have to patch anyway, so the rest of that's okay. We'll get around it. I'd probably be better off just getting a new inner, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to cut the rest of this out. I think maybe not. Probably just going to cut maybe the worst of that. I don't know, I'll leave it in there for now. We'll see. Oh. Alright, so I'm going to have to cut some of this out and rebuild this section here that's missing, and then I really need to figure out exactly where those holes need to be so that I can get everything set up for alignment. And then over there on the other side, the metal all looks good. I know that's been replaced more recently, but the holes were never drilled there, so I'll probably just have to drill those holes. Hopefully I won't have to take that quarter off, but we'll see. All right. Okay, now that the dust is settled, just cut this piece out, and you can see there's some previous repairs there. I was confused for a little bit, thinking that this is the piece that would have had the 4 bolts in it, 4 bolt holes, but it's not. This is only supposed to have 2. The cross member below has the 4 bolt holes. So this is right. I basically just need to create a new piece that's a little less crusty. I think everything here is salvageable. I'm just going to clean this up. I never really talked too much about the end goal for the truck, as far as, like, you know, this is not going to be a show truck. I just want it to be, you know, I kind of bounced around between whether or not I'm going to have it be more of a trail truck, but I do want the body to be right. Or, you know, is it something I'm going to paint and have it be, you know, something respectable, but not a, you know, not a perfect show truck. So I don't know. Either way, it doesn't really change right now. I'm going to continue on this path and get this all cleaned up. And, you know, I think long term, if this does a little bit of light wheeling, that's really all I have intended for it. No, nothing serious. So, and also, I don't want it to be perfect. I don't have that kind of time or money to put into it right now. All right, I think I'm going to wrap this one up here. Got a good bit done. Starting to put some new metal in, which is good. And I think that's what the next video should be. A lot more new metal, new support through here. Probably starting to test fit some of these cross members. Hopefully getting some paint onto the frame. We'll see. And putting things back together. I've got a lot of parts on order. I'm waiting on some stuff right now, and I'm also waiting on some good weather. But yeah, I'm starting to feel a little stress about the about trying to get this done for nationals, because the Green Scout still needs a distributor cap, a rotor, a starter, valve seals, intake manifold, freeze plug probably. So yeah. Anyway, I think we can do it. Not too worried. We'll see.